Hi lovely people, welcome back to my tutorial for today. How are you all doing? Hope you are great. Thank you for stopping by. Thank you for your support. Thank you for your kindness. I can't thank you all enough. And please, if this is your first time stopping by, kindly help us by hitting on that red icon to subscribe. And also put the notification bell to be the first to be notified whenever I upload a new video. So now today's class we shall be looking at how to make a very beautiful two mix fabric, and I'll be using those two fabrics for it. Of course, it's gonna be having a dart at the shoulder part. Alright, so stay put and watch till the end, and please do not skip the edits. Help us to watch the advert there. Alright, so first I'll be cutting my measurement at this pattern paper. Okay, then we use it to cut out our fabric. Okay, all right, so here I have my lines. Okay, this is where our measurement will be starting from, and this is our waist line, and this is our hip line to the hem line. Okay, all right, so first I'll be marking our shoulder measurement, and the shoulder I'm working with is 16 inches divided by 2 to give us 8 inches. All right, so from here now I will mark my 8 inches. Okay, I'll mark my 8 inches for that, and of course I'll mark my 3 inches for our shoulder slope. Alright, so I'll come down by 1 inch for our shoulder slope here. Okay, and I'll also mark half of my armhole. My armhole I'm working with is 18 inches divided by 2 to give us 9. So from this 1 inch I will mark my 9 inches. Okay, alright, so here I will make a straight line to connect it. I'll make a straight line here. Okay, so here I will connect my shoulder measurement, or I can equally take my 8 inches here. Okay, so I'll connect my shoulder slope. Okay, so the next thing to do now is to take my bust point measurement, my bust span measurement, which is my nipple to nipple measurement. Okay, so my nipple to nipple measurement is 8 inches, so divide by 2 to give us 4 inches. Okay, all right, but for mine I don't want the center part to be exactly at the bust point, so I'll be adding extra 1 inch to it. Okay, so making it 5 inches instead of the 4. So I'll mark my 5 inches here. Okay, I'll also mark it here. I'll also mark it at my waistline, to the hip line, and down to the hem line. Okay, all right, so I'll just connect it. All right, so okay, now I'll also include my bust point line. Okay, that's from shoulder to bust point, and what I have is 12 inches. So from here I will take my 12 inches. Okay, can equally draw this line before taking your bust palm measurements. Okay. All right. Okay, next thing to do now is to take the difference between our shoulder slope and our shoulder measurement. Okay, so what I have here is 5.5. Okay, so we find the midpoint. So 5.5 divided by 2 will give us 2.75. So from here now, I will mark my 2.75. I'll mark my 2.75, which is here. So here I will mark half an inch. Okay, I'll mark half an inch from that my 2.75, and I'll also mark another half an inch here. Okay, hope you're seeing it. I'll mark 2.5 and 2, half an inch, half an inch. Okay, after the 2.5. All right. Okay, so now I will connect this first half. I will connect this first half to this my point, to the shoulder, to the nipple point, sorry. So like this. Okay, I'll be connecting it this way. Okay, so here I'll take this again and I'll connect it to my nipple point. Okay, so I'll take this 2.5 now and I'll connect it this way. All right, so here again, this second half, I will connect it again to this point. Okay, so here I've connected this 3 points to my bust point measurement. Hope you understand. Okay, so the next thing to do is to add back what we have removed. This our dart here, we are going to add it back to this point, so we won't be having a short edge. Okay, all right, so here I have altogether 1 inch here, so I'm going to take that 1 inch back. Okay, all right. Now also come in here by 1 inch. Okay, so here we make a straight line. Now connect back my shoulder slope. Okay, so now we are making use of this second line and no more this line. Okay, all right. So the next thing I will do now is to find half of my shoulder measurement. Remember we have 9 here, so 9 divided into 2 will give us 4.5. okay, so here I will take my 4.5. all right, okay, then I will now go ahead and impute my body measurement, the circumference of my waist, my hip measurement, and my bust measurement. Okay, so here the bust I'm working with is 41 inches. Divide by 4 to give us 10.25. okay, so here now 10.25. okay, so because this is a free dress, I'll be adding 1.5 inches. okay, I'll be adding 1.5 inches for ease, and I'll be adding another 1.5 inches for seam allowance. Okay, The waist I'm working with is 36 inches divided by 4 will give us 9 inches. So here I will mark my 9 inches here, and I'll add 2 inches for ease and 1.5 inch for seam allowance. Okay, the hip I'm working with is 48 inches divided by 4 to give us 12 inches. And I'll add extra 2 inches and 1.5 inches. Okay, alright, so here I have altogether 15.5 inches at my hip line. So I'll take those 15.5 down to my hem line. Okay, alright, so I'll go ahead and mark my 15.5 at the hem line, and I'll now connect it. Okay, so I'll go ahead now and connect it. Okay, so I'll just make sure I take off those sharp edges. Okay, here now I will connect this. You can make use of a French curve if you have, but if you don't have, just find the midpoint and connect it. Okay, so for our neckline here, for the neckline I'll be making use of 4 inches. And for the neck depth for the front, I'll be making use of 4 inches. Okay, and for the back, I'll be making use of 1.5 inches. Okay, alright. So here, I will just connect it to that 4 inches. Okay, so this is all for our front part. Okay, so when I'm cutting it to my fabric, I'll make sure I add 1/2 inch. Okay, at those points where I'll be using that I will use to join the two bodies together. All right, okay, so here I will go ahead now and cut this out. Okay, and I want this dress to be having a slit at the front part. So because of that, from this, my measurement from this upper part now, remember that we have marked here, which is our 4 inches. So I'll also add another inch here to make it 8 inches. Okay, it's optional depending on how open you want your slit to be. So I want mine in all to be 8 inches. So here I will mark my 8 inches. Okay. All right. So my slit will start from here and stop at this part. Okay. Okay, so this is what we have. So this is all for the front part. So I'll go ahead now and cut out my fabric for it, and I'll cut out the back piece. All right. Okay, so as you can see, I've carefully cut out my fabrics. Okay, all right, and I left half an inch here that I will use to join the two parts together. Okay, all right, so looking at the down part, you will see that I have an excess fabric that is not equal to my paper. Okay, all right, so this is because the length of this is not up to my length, so I have to increase it. Okay, and add my full length at the fabric. Okay, so now I will just go ahead now and join this. Remember that this paper wasn't folded when we mark and cut it out, so when you are cutting out your fabric, which is the center part, make sure you fold it. Okay, all right, so as you can see, this is 2. Okay, all right, so the next thing I will do now is to go to my machine and join this part to these two sides. Okay, all right, so here, coming to the front part, remember we marked here where we'll be stopping our slit. Okay, so I'll just go ahead now and open it up. Okay, so this here is for my back piece. Okay, so this is just our normal body markings. Okay, all right, so I've gone ahead to cut out the back piece of my dress, and I also removed the 1.5 for the neck line. Okay, looking at it, you will see it's just a one piece. I do not add any allowance because I don't want those dress to be having a zipper. Okay, all right, so that's why I make the neck to be 4 inches. Okay, so I'll just go ahead and cut out lining for this back part, and for the front part, after joining the center to the side, I'll also use it to cut out one single lining for it. I won't be cutting my lining as pieces as the way I cut the front part. Okay, so I will join it first, and I will use it to cut out my lining. Then I'll cut out the lining for this and line them up. Right. Okay, this is also my pocket. Okay, and this is for my sleeve. The next thing I will do for the sleeve now, I'll just go ahead and mark out where I want my keyhole to be. Okay, okay, so here I have altogether 9.775 inches. Okay, so from this point now I will mark 2.5 inches. Okay, so from this 2.5 inches now, I'll also mark the length of 6 inches. Okay, so from here now I will curve it Okay, just make a circle to join the 2.5 inches this way. So I'll go ahead and cut it out. So when I open it up, I will have this hole here. You can make yours more wider. Okay, so what I will go do now is to cut out another piece of my center fabric. So remember, this is what I use for the center front. So I will use this now. Go to my machine, fold it into two this way, then I will turn it up, then iron it. Okay, so that the sewing part will be at the middle point. Then after that, I will use it to I'll pleat it round this way like a boss pleat. Okay, so maybe I should just go and do the joining. Okay, I'll just go and sew this up, then line my linings, cut my linings and line the fabric. Then I'll come back and show you how we are going to excuse me, pleat it up to the dress. Okay, I've gone ahead to join the front part, and I've also lined it up with my lining, as you can see. After joining, I cut out lining for it, and I line it up and turn it. Okay, also stitch up the slit, then turn it up. So I have this. Okay, and that's the back piece. And I've also turned it, join the two shoulders. Okay, and I close up my armhole part after turning and joining the shoulders. So the next thing to do now is to use my body measurement and shape it up. Okay, I'll use the body measurement and shape the bodies. Okay, and that will be all for the dress. And coming back to the sleeve, I cut out lining for it, then line it up, then turn it before stitching up this hole. Okay, I also cut out a strip. I'll just use my iron to iron it up. After turning it, I'll iron it to make the sewing part to be at the middle. Okay, and after that, I will join it this way. So I'll go ahead now and pleat it. You can just pleat anyway, anyhow you want it, but I want mine to be this way. Okay, and this way. All right. So this is how I'm going to do it till end. Okay, so this is how I'll be doing it round. And after that, I will cut out another piece of fabric and use it to turn it up, or you can use your bias to do that. And after that, I will attach it to my dress, and that will be all. Of course, I will also impute my pocket, and I will show you the finishing. Wow, so this is the finishing part. Thank you so much for watching to the end. To be meet in my next class. Love you all. Bye.